All right, moving on. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that Moscow will expel British diplomats. The White House had earlier issued a statement indicating that it will continue to maintain its tough policies against Russia until Moscow changes its behavior. The White House statement came in response to a question asking if the U.S. considers Russia a foe or a friend.
In simple terms, is Putin a friend or a foe of the United States?
I think that's something that Russia is going to have to make that determination. They're going to have to decide whether or not they want to be a good actor or a bad actor. I think you can see from the actions that we've taken up until this point, we're going to be tough on Russia until they decide to change their behavior.
Now, the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister has now responded, saying that Moscow will respond by expanding its blacklist of Americans. He added that Moscow wants to maintain dialogue with Washington, and those in the United States who want to destroy relations with Russia are playing with fire. Earlier, Washington slapped sanctions on Russian individuals and entities for alleged U.S. election meddling and cyber attacks, but put off targeting oligarchs and government officials close to Vladimir Putin, prompting U.S. lawmakers in both parties to say Trump needs to do much more. All right, joining me live from Moscow is Lucy Taylor. Good evening, Lucy. I want to pose that same question that was asked of Sarah Sanders in Washington. Does Russia see the UK as a foe or a friend?
Well, Russia has responded to that directly today. The presidential spokesman has said that Russia's position is it will be friends with any country which wants benevolent relations. So any benevolent country Russia will have good relations with. Of course, that's very vague, and that's because this hasn't been a great week for Russia's relationships with other parts of the world, in particular those countries you might call Western countries, particularly the US and the UK. As you said, yesterday the US announced new sanctions against Russian individuals and entities. We had been expecting those for some time. In fact, we expected them to come at the end of January, so Russia has had lots of time to prepare for those. But it does say that it will retaliate, and also it has said it will retaliate very soon to the UK. The Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has spoken today and said that Russia will be expelling British diplomats in response to Britain announcing that it will expel 23 Russian diplomats as a reaction to that poisoning of the former spy, which happened on March the 4th.
Indeed. And Lucy, very quickly, now as the war of words, or the verbal duel between London and Moscow continues, a report published by the Telegraph newspaper of London hints that the nerve agent may have been planted in Skripal's daughter's baggage when she last visited Russia. How much credence would you attach to that report?
Well, the truth is it's very difficult to know because investigations are still continuing on the side of the British police. Of course, speculations in the media can't really be verified at this point. But certainly there was a joint statement yesterday from the US, the UK, France and Germany, all saying that the only plausible explanation for that nerve agent attack was that Russia was behind it. The Foreign Secretary of Britain, Boris Johnson, has said today again that he thinks it's very likely that Russia was behind the attack. On the Russian side, though, we've only had denial after denial from government department after government department. And as you say, the suggestion from the foreign minister here is that there are other people setting up this attack as a target to Russia to effectively ruin Russia's big moment, hosting the FIFA World Cup this summer.
Indeed. On that note, Lucy Taylor in Moscow, thank you so much for joining me live on WION Dispatch. Appreciate it.